Good day, ladies and gentlemen, your stat doctor here. Today we're going to talk about the SMGs in Season 4 Reloaded. With all the changes, all the SMGs also change. And yes, the Bizon is still terrible. Good that we talked about that. But some others are winners, some others are losers. LC10, you don't want to play anymore. But let's go down on all the guns, show you loadouts, tell you which gun is meant to be sniper support still. If there's any SMG that's actually sniper support, which ones can you still play and which ones you should leave your hands off. Looking at the list here right now, we are looking for an average time to kill of 500 milliseconds. So everything that's around 500 milliseconds is good in the first damage fall off, because that's kind of where the guns went down to. Obviously, the OTS is extremely strong. We're talking about in the first damage fall off, I don't know how long that is, 45 to the head, 34 to the body, 34 to the tummy, and 30 to the chest, which is then with 2 headshots, 3 body shots, and 2 arm and leg shots, 424 milliseconds. And even with 8 body shots, you would be at 494 milliseconds. So with 8 body shots, you would still be faster than the Cold War MP5 and the Modern Warfare MP5 and the AUG and the fact. So without actually hitting a single headshot, the OTS is still an absolute menacing monster. The second current most dominating gun is the MP5, because you can full hip fire it from Modern Warfare, but at the same time, you only need 1 headshot to actually land a good time to kill. And even if you hit the second worst time to kill, it's 526 milliseconds. So these two guns are absolutely efficient. And we're then talking about the Cold War MP5, also very good. 1 headshot, 5 chest shot, 2 arm and leg shots for 492. But if you only hit body shots, you're at 562 milliseconds. So it's tiny bit worse than actually the Modern Warfare MP5, considering that you have a less time to kill, even if you would only hit the chest shots. And I have to say the Modern Warfare MP5 has a way better handling. Funny stories though, when it comes down to Hipfire Monsters, the MP7 with 500 milliseconds did always have a better movement speed and better hipfire than the MP5. The only problem with the MP7 is that it would need to hit 2 headshots and 7 chest shots to do this. Well, you could also hit 10 shots just like that. The problem here being is that if you played hipfire, you obviously jump the corner, start the hipfire spray, and then you would have to traverse 2 ADS to then beam even harder. And that can sometimes be a problem because the hipfire is just so tremendously good on that gun. The LC10, for example, even for sniper support, I wouldn't touch anymore. That's 608 milliseconds. You need to hit a 1 headshot for that. And then after 20 meters, you go even worse. But that's 608 milliseconds. If you compare that now to the ARs, some of the ARs here, the SCAR has sniper support, the AK has sniper support, C58 has sniper support, QBZ has sniper support. You know, all these guns, they just do a very fantastic good job. Why would you bother yourself with the LC10? If there's ARs that do the job better, especially effective damage range wise, that says 20 meters. Right now, there's no SMG I would really say is super good sniper support. And that's quite sad because I always liked that. I guess the Mac-10 has a good effective damage range with a good time to kill. The Bullfrog with 559 milliseconds. Considering that the Bullfrog is still 1 headshot and then 7 shots wherever. So the Bullfrog, due to the new update, is weaker but stronger at the same time because it only needs 1 headshot. So with 1 headshot and 7 body shots, you have a 559 milliseconds time to kill, which is quite up here and good with all the others together. And that's only 1 headshot, and you still have the 15 meters effective damage range. So I would assume that the Bullfrog as a sniper support could definitely still do the job. The Milano also, the Milano is still fantastic, so nothing changed about that gun with 521 milliseconds. Could still use that sniper support too. 74U, I would guess, haven't tried it in a while, but now with the latest updates, you also need only 1 headshot, 5 chest shots, and 1 tummy, arms, and leg shots. Still need to be rather precision for this, but 517 milliseconds time to kill is possible. And obviously, the stacking of headshots makes the gun more forgiving. So the more headshots you hit, the more forgiving the gun is. But also, if you do only hit chest shots and then just mix in 1 headshot, you're actually very good off to go. The Bizon kind of technically with a 550 milliseconds could be somewhere, but the Bizon is more or less just a worse Bullfrog, so why would you care about the Bizon? The Uzi is not with normal ammunition viable, but then the Uzi actually with a special ammunition is also going a very good way now. So one of the best in comparison to all of this. And the P90 did look shit, but honestly, with all the nerfs on all the guns right now, it seems like that technically the P90 might make a comeback, because with 2 headshots and 7 shots to the chest and tummy, 530 milliseconds time to kill, good bullet velocity, good rate of fire. I mean, maybe, maybe. I mean, it did always look trashy, but if you now compare it to what we all have, could be worth it. But then again, if you look at the 530 milliseconds of sniper support Why would you do that if you do have the ARs that have like 33, 31, 30 meters effective damage range, and still like the AK-47 Cold War 25-meter effective damage range, 500 milliseconds time to kill, which you can easily achieve? Why would you bother whipping out an SMG as a sniper support then when you have something like that? So the SMGs are really just SMGs right now, and that actually gives us then time for the shotguns to reign again, because think about it. If the SMGs are really being just used as SMGs and then the ARs are being used from 10, 20 meters on, then it might be a time for shotguns to reign supreme. Let's start with the new SMG, the OTS. It's an absolute menacing monster that also has a decent hipfire. I played with the Task Force, then Grew Suppressor or Sound Suppressor. I have to say that I find the Grew Suppressor to be more than enough because the gun has a base insane ADS time, so it's absolutely fine to go. 40 round Spetsnaz mag, not the fast mag, because the fast mag ADS time minus feels really bad. Then together with the Bruiser Grip and the Tiger Team Spotlight. Here, I'm still unsure a little bit about the Tiger Team Spotlight. I do believe that occasionally the 5 mW laser might actually be better, so you have a killer hipfire. But I do really like the bonus movement speed that gives you, because the gun is absolutely agile and mobile to just really fly over the battlefield. The biggest problem with this gun is the iron sight. When you tilt the gun, that it just moves weirdly with the iron sight, and you're gonna be like, oh man, what is this shit? So you might actually be forced to put the Tiger Team off and kind of put a snap point on to really be pinpoint with this gun. But then I'm like, if you do this, why not then just build it on full hipfire and really use the full hipfire version instead? Because then you don't need to ADS that much. You only need to ADS when it's really necessary. Second biggest winner, obviously the Modern Warfare MP5. Can build that completely on hipfire. I mean, that's very easy with the monolithic integral suppressor, 45 round mag, 5 milliwatt, and the collapsible stock. I do know a lot of people don't like the collapsible stock. It does give you bonus movement speed, but it also makes the gun a bit unruly when you have to ADS down and beam within. So technically you could put the collapsible stock off, and you can put either sleight of hand on. I do know a lot of people do that in quads, or you can play the stipple grip tape for more sprint to fire speed. Not the aim on sight speed, sprint to fire speed. I do think though the full hipfire version is just the best for me to really have the maximum in movement speed. I'd rather put the Merc foregrip off for stippled or sleight of hand. Then I would be putting off the no stock, because the no stock really gives you a significant chunk of movement speed too, and the Merc foregrip takes some movement speed away again. Talking about the MPs, the MP7 has a better hipfire than the MP5 and better movement speed. Obviously, only downside, it needs one more headshot than the MP5 for an efficient kill. You play this one also with no stock, 50 round mag to gain a little bit better movement speed. Then you can either play this with a Merc foregrip, 5 milliwatt laser, and a monolithic suppressor. Technically, the monolithic suppressor is also unnecessary, because with the strike barrel, you get damage range and bullet velocity, but without ruining your hipfire. So you get a bigger chunk of damage range and bullet velocity than the monolithic gives you. You're not suppressed, but you're still good. If you would put off the Merc foregrip, you would gain more movement speed again, and you could put the monolithic on to then be able to also have a hipfire that's more efficient up to a higher effective damage range. And if you ADS down, you also have a way higher effective damage range. I do like the strike plus Merc foregrip, but obviously a lot of you are going to be like, I need to be suppressed, so it's monolithic over that. And you have a very insanely fast moving SMG that also has a banger hipfire. It's even better to hipfire than ADS down with the MP7. Now, talking about the 74U, I think can be played sniper support and can be played full SMG. The thing is, I always have the problem with the iron sight. No matter what I do, the iron sight kind of feels iffy on the gun. So I would say for me personally, it's probably going to be snap point together with the task force. Then we're slapping on the Ember side point. I'm playing the Grew Suppressor here because we want to have the effective damage range. And then for me, it's the Spetsnaz grip, because the gun has very weird recoil, especially if you do use the sniper support. And I don't think you need a bonus mag, because with 30 rounds on this, it's enough. It has a super quick reload. And on top of that, it does lead very low bullets to kill. So that feels very good. Obviously, you can play this also full SMG, and you can go for the standard Bruiser Grip, Tiger Team Spotlight, no side. Here in this case, the sound suppressor for the better iron sight version, because with the sound suppressor, you do get a different iron sight. You can see it here in the notch. If you don't go for the Grew Suppressor, you have the weird ass notch. So if you play this iron sight, you always want to use the sound suppressor for the better iron sight. The problem with the sound suppressor and the Tiger Team Spotlight is that the metal bands are slightly going through the iron sight. They fixed it a little bit so it doesn't look as awful anymore. Also, as the last attachments, you have the choice between the 40 round mag, or that's only 10 more rounds. Go for the KGB skeletal stock for more sprint to fire speed. They now, our favorite friend, the Milano, can be played in 2, 3, 4, many different ways. You have the Task Force build with the Agency Suppressor, Amber Side Point, bonus magazine, and then a snap point for pinpoint precision. That is Sniper Support number 1. Sniper Support number 2 plays with an actual 3 arms instead. Yes, it's still an SMG, and you play with an actual 3 arms and an absolute pinpoint precision beamer. It's quite nasty. And then last but not least, you could also play that full SMG by then swapping the Amber Side Point for the Tiger Team Spotlight with a Bruiser Grip, and you have a very zooming SMG. So 3 different builds that you can easily play this. And no, you do not need the sound suppressor here because sprint to fire is good, ADS time is good, everything is good on the gun already, so it's not needed. You have either the Zoomer, then you have the mini boomer, and then you have the full boomer with the 3 times. For the Bullfrog, I do feel like no matter if you played Sniper Support or if you played full SMG, I've always liked the Task Force version with the Groove Suppressor, Amber Side Point, Snap Point, and KGB Skeletal Stock the most. Recently, I've also been putting off the Snap Point and I've been playing it again with the Bruiser Grip to then just be able to zoom faster. But I really like on this gun to pull out the effective damage range as far as possible to then also allow you still to have great hip fire. This has a great ADS time, insane sprint to fire, feels just a very good all in all, and due to the bonus ammunition that you have by standard, you're just very good off to go straight off the rip. And this would be Sniper Support or SMG build. For the SMG, you could also swap the Amber Side Point for the 5 mW or Tiger Team Spotlight, but honestly, the Amber Side Point does do a good job to start with the hipfire on the Bullfrog. I would like to present you an AUG build, but the biggest problem with the AUG is that you always suffer insane movement speed malice. So yes, you can play this kind of SMG. Yes, you can play this as a Sniper Support with the longest barrel, something like that. But the problem is you build this Sniper Support, you end up with an ADS time of 400. You can't do that because there are other Sniper Support guns that have a 200, 250 milliseconds ADS time. You're going to lose these fights. You can build it full SMG, but still, even if you build a full SMG, your movement speed is kind of and the eyesight on the gun is iffy. If you want to build kind of like a hybrid between an SMG and hipfire and something yada yada, it's just not good. So I do love the AUG. It's my first gun I had gold ever. Like I play this gun main so much, but the gun has so many underlying problems with ADS time, with movement speed, with reload. Then you have to play a sleight of hand because you only play the 30 round mag instead of the 60 round mag. Then you play the 32 round mag, but it's not strong enough. I really want to show you builds on the AUG, but there is no efficient build. I've been trying, like I've spent at least 10 hours in total, like over the past couple of months, really trying to figure out if this AUG build, any AUG build can work. And yes, they do work, but it's never like, wow, the AUG, man, I failed it. This is so good. Yeah, the AUG. No, never. I'm sorry. Like it's a good gun stat wise, but from the reality perspective of what the gun has to offer, it sadly just falls behind everything. But talking about Modern Warfare guns, having the Uzi back as Sniper Support or as a full SMG, the very good thing is about the Uzi as Sniper Support, the 32 round mag, super quick reload, great damage, low shots to kill. You can still play the 5 mW laser. You also have the first responder barrel, which gives you effective damage range and bullet velocity, but without you ruining the hipfire in any way. Then you slap on a monolithic suppressor for even more range, so you have a great effective damage range. They pull up by 30-45%, something like that. And then if you don't like the iron sight, you can just play this with a PBX7 hollow sight and a blue dot. You have an absolute pinpoint precision beamer because the gun does like taka. So it's very good with the sight. And if you don't want the sight, you could even put on a Merc foregrip to enhance the hipfire even more. And you have a very fast, hard hitting, pinpoint precision beaming, long rangey, menacing Uzi. Great gun for the current meta. The PPSH I wouldn't touch right now because the time to kill just doesn't give it away as anything that does do a good job. The movement speed is great, but you'll just lose fights due to that. The ISO falls under the same category. The KSP is chonked. I know the Bullfrog is close to that, but I just do enjoy the Bullfrog tremendously. The Mac 10 can still be played, especially because the Mac 10 is a zoomer. With the Task Force barrel, then Agency Suppressor, playing with a 43 round drum mag, Tiger Team Spotlight, Striker Grip, and a Raider stock, you do have a very fast zooming rifles. I like to put off the Task Force often and then put the Tiger Team Spotlight on because the gun has a 15-meter effective damage range, which is really good for a full SMG already, and that's what I'm using it as. Not Sniper Support, full SMG up to 15 meters. And therefore, you kind of do want to just increase the movement speed and the sprint to fire instead of working on any more effective damage range or bullet velocity. because you're already good enough to go with the insane movement that you have with this one. And it's still one of the faster zooming, most dangerous SMGs in the Warzone. The LC10 is out. We said the P90 might be able to be played sniper support, but I will have to say that straight off the rip, I don't have a 100% build to recommend because I'm not really sure if I do need the kind of grip tapes. But if I would have to go just from a feeling perspective, I would go with the Retribution monolithic suppressor, then 5 milliwatt laser, keep this thing inside, and then just play stippled grip tape plus fly strap for more sprint to fire speed and aim walk movement speed. That would what I would come up straight off the rip without looking at any kind of recoil or anything, because it's more meant to be an SMG than anything else. But you could also build this more on range, where you then put off the fly strap, for example, or the 5 milliwatt laser, keep the fly strap, and put on actually a sight. So you're able to then see a little bit more and beam a little more in distance. Because obviously with the Forge Attack Retribution, you get so much bullet velocity. I mean, the gun has the most bullet velocity of all the over 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity. It's a laser beam that gets a high effective damage range and is quite menacing. And now with the time to kill, it could technically live up, but then as soon as it hits the damage fall off, you just drop so far below. Also, the MP5 Cold War is obviously fantastic. There's many different ways to play it. A lot of people want to do the blueprint way to get the better Einstein. For me, it has crystallized out that if I play the gun with the Bruiser Grip, a 5 milliwatt laser, Task Force, Agency Suppressor, and a 40 round drum mag, just turns out to be the best. And since I do really play it full hipfire, I often like to go for the 50 round mag too, since it feels very good. You don't ADS that much, so you're quite fine enough to go with the not ADSing due to the 5 round drum mag giving you minus ADS. The hipfire is not as good as the MP5 Modern Warfare, but it's still very good and very efficient. And it's just such a mean ass gun to clap people with. Obviously, you can also build the Bizon. You could do something with the ISO if you really want to, but I, do advise you against it. The Fennec is a menacing rifle, but a lot of people don't like the Fennec because it's really just usable in solos. There's a full hipfire version. Check out warzoneloadouts.gg. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about the current meta on SMGs? I am quite excited that all of these are viable. There are obviously some that are completely out right now, but all in all, you can quite play a lot of them and you can have a lot of fun with all these different SMGs. Obviously, now the double AR meta is still there to a certain degree because ARs are also close to what the SMGs have to offer. So I kind of feel like they might have nerfed the SMGs a little bit too much, or they would have to lower the time to kill on some of them here even more. But looking at the AK-47 Cold War, that can still be played as a full SMG. You can play the Scar L, the M13. They all live up to that. So we have quite some good guns. I mean, the XM4 used to be a very good SMG. And now with 583 milliseconds time to kill, you can still play it as an SMG because of the movement speed. Realistically, though, you might lose 1 or 2 fights because someone actually just has a faster killing rifle. All in all, it is absolutely fantastic what you can do right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know there's actually 10 plus people currently right now hanging out in the chart, just checking the stats. So thanks for actually using this. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to find your way back for more. And yes, soon after this video, the next videos will be gun gameplay videos again. We're going to have OTS for you. You're going to have QBZ sniper support. A lot of exciting builds are coming where we go more in depth on the recoil and everything and where we put which attachment. Here was just a quick overview for you to really then see what each gun does, what is a viable loadout, what could you play it with, how could you play it. But the more in-depth always follow in the singular gun gaming videos then, where you also show you gameplay, and that's kind of like how the channel works. So if you want to be part of this, don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day and see you in the next video.